Hello and welcome to the GRADD Dialogue. You know, the holidays are over and now the talk of the town, talk of the state right now is the General Assembly. And, you know, what do we have in our future with the new administration, the new leadership, and also the new agenda. So today I have invited Senator Joe Bowen to speak to us as far as, what do we expect. And those of you who may or may not, I'm sure everybody knows, Senator Joe Bowen has been in the House representative from 2005 through the 6th, and in 2011 he was elected as a District 8 Senator from our area. He covers Davis, Hancock, and part of McLean counties as well. Senator, welcome on the GRADD Dialogue. I know we have been on this show in the past talking about specific issues that, I know that some of the issues still carries on. However, with the Governor Matt Bevin, being in Frankfurt, along with that new leadership, new committee assignments, and everything else, to kind of tell us, it's been 2 days of session in business since in last week. So what is the feeling? What do you think is going to be looking forward to for that session?
Right. Well, of course, it is a new day
in
Frankfurt. There is a totally new atmosphere, and I found it to be very congenial, very a willingness to participate in a bipartisan manner, a willing to, at this point, to cooperate, move important public policy issues forward, and I think it's going to be good. I think the atmosphere up to this point obviously is good, but I think that sets the stage for a very productive session. Every session takes on its own personality, Jiten. My wife the other day was just asking me, well, what do you look forward to? And I said, I know what the issues are going to be, but I don't know the atmosphere around those issues, what that's going to look like, because every session has its own way of unfolding. So I'm looking forward to that.
And especially being a long session, what we call a long session for the people watching the show, is a 60-day working session for you guys, and also the budget time too, with the new administration and everything else. And I'm sure we are looking forward to Governor's State of the First State of the Union address as well coming up, with the new budget being unveiled, or maybe sometime this month again. So I think a lot of excitement. There are a lot of good issues we have talked about during the campaign, and I know the governor has already started implementing some of those, some of his agenda and promises. So, what do you think? Is some of the ongoing issues from the previous administration, like the pension is the biggest one. So, and I know you are very much into finding some sort of solution. So where do you think the budget session is going to take us? This in 2016.
Right. Well, obviously, the biggest issue that we face is the budget, and the budget is responsible for the way we approach a lot of other issues, because so many of the bills that we file are contingent upon funding. So when that budget comes over from the executive branch, a lot of the issues that we deal with are either going to be modified, or they're going to be multiplied or expanded. So it's all contingent upon that document that comes over from the executive branch. But I think, Jiten, if you can break it down in about 5 categories. Obviously, the budget is job one. And then, of course, the whole world knows that we have to deal with pensions, and we can talk about that in a minute. But aside from those 2 big issues, education will be front and center, as it always is. But there's some big things on the horizon in the education realm. The judiciary, the judicial justice and public safety, that will consume a lot of time. And then health and welfare issues. So I think those 5 things are the predominant categories that we'll be dealing with. There's a lot of social issues. There's a lot of other economic issues that we'll deal with. But those 5 categories are going to be the big 5, I think.
Let's talk about the budget. I know the governor has announced that he has received millions of dollars worth of requests from the different cabinets, as a typical, new administration begins. But he's also indicated that, hey guys, don't expect all those to be funded, because I think he's looking at very lean budget. So I'm sure that you are very much involved in that. What do you expect? Is that because of the revenues are coming down? It's not what we thought he's going to be and on all those things. So.
Right. Well, and it is a function of revenues, and it's a function of expenses and obligations that you have to fulfill. And in our case, our revenues are actually up. We've seen an increase in revenues, and we've seen a little increase in our rainy day fund. So we have additional revenues at our disposal, but we have about $30 billion worth of pension obligations, and we have the expanded Medicaid that's going to consume just in this cycle alone about another $150 million. So we've got a lot of new expenses, or not really new expenses, but we have new obligations that we have to meet, and it's going to consume any reserve that we have on hand now. So we have to be prudent, and it is going to be an austere budget, but that's only because we have to meet these obligations that are staring us in the face, and there is a shortage of funds.
So that's a good point, and I think that does make a lot of sense. So let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room, which is the pension. I know you've been working with the governor, on the pension issues, and they announced, the Democratic side announced to be a bill to be considered to raise, bring in billions of dollars to help out the teachers' pension too. So kind of give us why we are in this shape we are now, and what can the state of the General Assembly can do to get out of it.
Right. Well, I think you have three schools of thought occurring in Frankfort right now, or three strategies, I should say. One is House Bill 1 is going to be their pension proposal, which is Stumbo's proposal of bonding $3.3 billion. I think the chances of that coming to fruition the odds are long on that. And then you have the governor's approach, which is somewhere between, a healthy ARC payment and perhaps promoting a 401k system for new hires, to doing a full audit on the system and seeing what are really the underlying causes of the pension issue and how did we get to where we are. So we have Speaker Stumbo's strategy, the governor's strategy, and the third leg on this stool is actually legislation that myself and two other legislators, Jimmy Higdon, who is a Senate member, and Brad Montel, who is a House member, and we've been crafting a plan for about the last 6 months. We have countless hours in this, and so this is our solution to the problem. And quite frankly, Jiten, ours is a blend of structural changes and a phased-in funding plan that after 4 years we meet the full arc, but we phase into it, and then we have a clear path going forward of funding and the structural changes that are needed to resolve the issue. It's a well-thought-out solution. It's a well-thought-out plan, but it's one of three options that we're going to be faced with. So we'll see at the end of the day which one of these strategies ultimately prevails.
I guess at the end of the day, people watching the show, and especially those who are teachers and retirees and also working a state government or the agency folks, I think they got two things in their mind. Am I gonna get my pension that I'm in system now? And those who are coming in, like the teachers now, what impact they would have on because of the new 401k benefits and all those things. So, any message for them? Wait and see, or have some trust in you guys.
To begin with, Jiten, I would say that anyone that's working or anyone that's retired should rest easy in the KTRS system. Their pension check is going to be there for them. I mean, they're funded at a level of about 51 to 53%, somewhere in that range, and they have assets of about something north of $17 billion, and so their plan is secure for now, but we need a long-term solution. Now, state employees is a little bit different. Their plan is not funded nearly at the level that KTRS is funded at. Their plan is only funded at about an 18% level, which means their assets are probably somewhere in the range of $3 to $4 billion. But we passed Senate Bill 2 in 2013 that brought a solution going forward to resolve that issue. And in time, it will. Now, it's going to take several years for it to work itself out and to resolve the issue. But their challenge now is short term. So you have two different issues, two different challenges with the plans. One, you have a long-term challenge with KTRS. With KRS, you have a short-term challenge, but we're going to meet both of these challenges. That's our responsibility, that's our obligation. Now, I would say at the same time that there are many of us that inherited that problem, but we're working hard to resolve it, and we will. But you know, we're going to have to face up to it, and we're going to have to sacrifice in some other areas to make sure that we live up to these obligations and these commitments that we've made to folks, both our state employees and teachers.
And the revenue balloon has to be squeezed somewhere to do whatever needs to be done. And again, the financial market, the way it's going on now, and also in 2008, and all those, it doesn't help, you know, to grow the fund as well. So it's a great challenge for you guys, and I believe the three legs that you talked about, those, I would imagine that a solution would be in place anyway, you know, by the time you guys finish. Let's talk about your committee assignments. I know in the past, you know, I was fortunate to, attend your committee and address about the area development districts on the, was subcommittee on the local and state government. So tell us about your committees and what do you see changes on that?
You know, I tell people I feel like I live on the corner of Main and Frankfort because on the Senate side, we have a committee that is state and local government. On the House side, they break that up. They have a state government committee and a local government committee. We combine the two, and that's the committee that I'm chairman of, state and local government. So we obviously have a plethora of issues that flow through our committee. You know, anything, let me give you an example, anything from legislation that would affect, you know, a dog in an apartment building, you know, someone having a pet in an apartment building to the pension issue and everything in between. So we have a wide variety of issues that we have to confront. We stay really busy. I'll probably have somewhere in the neighborhood, I would say, Jiten, I don't know, 200 or 300 bills assigned to my committee, all of which I'll need to read and get an understanding of to see if, in fact, they're worthy of getting a hearing and moving forward. So it's a great challenge, and each one of those bills is important to somebody. And so I'll have to have a sit down with folks and talk their bill through. So, you know, we start early in the morning, quit late at night.
But talking about the bills, I think, what do you personally is thinking about either sponsoring or co-sponsoring the bills that really an audience would be interested in?
Right. Well, I have Senate Bill 2 this year, which is a pension transparency bill. In other words, the pension boards will, after my bill is implemented, and I feel like that it will have to be more transparent in their actions than what they currently are. They will also come under the Model Procurement Code, which means that any contracts that they engage in will now have to come before Contract Review Committee. Heretofore, they haven't done that. We'll also add some members to one of the boards that will be a governor appointment. So it's going to bring transparency to these boards. There's a lot of activity that goes on with both KRS board and KTRS board that we never see, you know, the effects of until something catastrophic has happened. So this bill is going to add transparency. And then I have a couple of other bills. I've got a bill that affects hybrid electric-powered vehicles. I have a bill that was brought to me by a local resource officer at one of our schools and our county attorney, a sexting bill. It's a real problem that we have with the teenagers across the community today. So those are three bills that I'm engaged in. People in the timber industry have come to me about sponsoring some legislation. So the list goes on.
Senator, I think, with that list, at the same time, with your bill, Senate Bill 2 is going to have a long-term, beneficial to all the vows about this, pension issues and everything else. Senator, again, always, refreshing and pleasure to have you on the show. And, I want to wish you best of luck. As the time goes on, I'm sure that you'll be visiting our breakfast at GRADD and also the chamber in Owensboro. So that way people get a chance to talk to you and get information to you and everything else. Again, thank you for being on the show. Wish you best of luck. And, we will come down and visit, I guess, very shortly.
Thank you, Jiten.
We've been talking to Senator Joe Bowen about the upcoming General Assembly and what do we expect to happen, and some of the key issues affecting the state of Commonwealth of Kentucky, especially in the pension and some other issues. So if you have any questions or comments, please call me at the GRADD office, or you can always contact the Senator Joe Bowen, and you can find his contact information on the GRADD website. Thank you very much and have a great day. Hello and welcome to the GRADD Dialogue. This month we're going to discuss, what is happening in the paper industry, but more importantly, what is happening in the Domtar facility in Hancock County. That's one of the largest and one of the key manufacturing facilities in our area, and also has a long, many decades of history. So I have invited General Manager Steve Henry to be with us and talk about that. Many of you may not know Steve. Steve, I guess, as I say, is General Manager for the Domtar in Hoswell, which is a pulp and paper mill. Steve joined Domtar in 2011 and has over 25 years of experience in that industry. He has been all over. He's taken his family to Virginia, Iowa, Tennessee, and now in Kentucky. He also serves on large industrial board as a board member on Kenergy, and also been involved very much in the community. Steve, welcome.
Thank you.
I see that you also have electrical engineering and a business administration degree. This is an honor to have you in the GRADD region. And one thing that I liked about, and that you also mentioned earlier at the GRADD board, is your outside involvement in junior achievement programs and also working with the school systems and everything else. So again, it's an honor to have you here. So let's start out. I know the Domtar people, some of the people may not realize the name Domtar, which used to be, years ago, it used to be it had gone to different names, starting out with the Willamette Industries and everything else. Okay, so tell us about Domtar and tell us, why, what is happening at your facility.
Absolutely. Well, at Domtar, let's start first with the overall company and corporation. Is what we do is we design, manufacture, and market fiber-based products, a wide variety of them. And really, the foundation of our business is really a collection of world-class fiber converting assets like we have here in Hawesville, Kentucky, and Owensboro, Kentucky. And what we do is we produce a variety of communication papers, specialty papers, pulp products, and personal care products. In 2014, our overall company, we had $5.6 billion in sales in over 50 countries around the world. And we continue to expand into new areas as our commodity business is declining about 3 to 5% a year. We're doing a lot of product development and really expanding into specialty papers, specialty pulps, and growing our personal care business.
Seems like, in order to stay with the market and the continuing changing market, especially when you talk about the paper and everything else, you had to be continuously, involving, innovating yourself and also reinventing yourself or something. So tell us about how the product that you guys used to make and, maybe 20, 30 years ago, and what the products you make now.
Absolutely. Well, historically, we predominantly made a product that's called uncoated free sheet, or it's a communications paper. So it's typically the copy paper that we use, or tablet, notebook type paper. And it's still a very sizable market, although it's declining. It's still a sizable market, and we're actually the largest manufacturer, marketer of that paper in North America. But we are realistic that with electronic substitution, it's declining. And what we've been doing is really blazing a trail into new specialty and technical papers. And it's been a challenge, but it's actually been an exciting time at our Hawesville plant, and particularly with our H1 paper machine. We've developed a wide variety of products that really many of the viewers probably touch on a daily basis and don't even realize it. It could vary from the tea bag paper to receipt paper that you get at the gas pump to a takeout bag at a fast food restaurant. And we're getting more and more involved in FDA certified grades as well. And so I cannot compliment the team that we have at the plant being extremely innovative and agile and developing new and exciting products for our facility.
So that's a challenge, you had to take, maybe change the plant to answer this quote-unquote paperless society, even though we're never going to be paperless. We all at times take pride, oh, we don't have that much paper at the office or something, more electronics and everything else. But there is always going to be demand, for use of the paper and everything else. So people may not know, but can you take us kind of going back all the way to how the paper is made and why the tree turns into a beautiful glossy paper when the end of the manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it starts with responsibly and sustainably harvesting the trees, and I'm particularly proud that Domtar is the leader in sustainability in the paper industry, and we really started a process over 15 years ago, partnering with the Rainforest Alliance and really adopting a FSC certification for managed timberlands, and making sure that we have a product that when our customers buy that product, that they could feel certain that land had been harvested in a sustainable and managed manner. And so we really blaze the trail within the paper industry doing that, and that's obviously where it begins, and we fully recognize that if we don't do that in a sustainable way, that's our future. And so we're very interested in making sure that we're good stewards of the environment and the community and take good care of the forest lands in this country. So it starts with the wood. Basically, it's brought into a chip converting plant where those large logs are chipped down to smaller size pieces that can be used in our manufacturing process. And we have essentially probably the best way to think about it is a large industrial pressure cooker. And it's about the size of a Titan rocket, so it's unlike no pressure cooker that most people have seen. But we use pressure and steam and some cooking chemicals to help break down that wood chips to eventually get to the individual fibers. And the next step of the process is the bleaching process, where we have to remove the brown color and make it a white color so we can use it for printing and writing communication papers and other products that we produce. And it eventually goes to a paper machine, which these fibers are about 1% fiber and 99% water to help us orient those fibers in a way that the sheet can have the optical properties that we're looking for. And then we proceed to drain and press and dry the sheet to finish with the finished paper. So it's a fascinating and very technical process. I never imagined what it took to make a sheet of paper when I got into the paper industry, but it's certainly I've enjoyed learning about it throughout my career.
So just listening the whole process, you can see that there are some byproducts or scraps, even byproducts too. You think about when you use the chips, the bark, they got to be disposed of. Then you talk about the using chemicals, they got to be do that in the drying, and all the water comes out too. So I guess you will have a system has to be that competitive, to utilize all those byproducts and turn into a support system to your manufacturing as well.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I wish we would have done a better job in the paper industry over the years. We were green before it was ever cool to be green.
Be green, yeah. And
we just, as a paper industry, did not do ourselves justice in terms of really helping inform and educate people the wonderful processes that we had in our manufacturing plants. But you were exactly right. In terms of that tree, every bit of that tree is used somehow in our manufacturing process. And as an example, we take the bark, which you obviously can't use in the manufacture of paper, but we use that to generate steam and electricity to meet the energy needs of the paper making process. And we also take those chemicals that we use to break down the wood chips, and there's a chemical recovery process, a giant recycling process per se. And we use that to generate steam and electricity for the plant. And so what a lot of people don't realize is we generate about 80% of our own electricity, and that's enough electricity. It'd be equivalent of powering 22,600 homes each year with green, green energy. And we're very proud of the positive impact that we have on the environment and in the community.
So this is a kind of closed facility. Everything has been recycled and everything else. Talking about the recycling, I know in the early 70s and 80s, and it was a buzzword, but now I think it's people are more conscious. The children want you to recycle paper, especially paper and everything else. So in your mix of raw materials coming in, are you also use the recycled paper or use recycled paper for some other purpose or anything like that?
Yes, we use recycled paper, and as you might imagine, we depending on different customer needs, they'll have different recycled paper content requirements, and then also we market a variety of papers with different levels of recycled fiber in there. We also try to educate our customers in making sure that they understand just how sustainable the wood-based paper fibers are as well, and helping them understand the positive green energy aspects and the fact that nothing gets wasted. And as you pointed out, whether it's water, whether it's energy, whether it's chemicals, there's a tremendous amount of recycling that goes on in our facility that we're very, very proud of.
You talk about the education, because education is a key component, for continuous sustainability, because I think once we are gone, somebody got to, take the message and everything else. So how are you involved in the education process, with the, all the way from, elementary school to higher, as far as knowledge about the paper and environment and sustainability and everything else?
Well, we participate with the community schools in a number of different ways. We host some educational sessions with the local Hancock County schools where the students come to our plant site, and we teach them about the paper making process. We teach them about sustainability, a wide variety of careers in manufacturing that are available to them in the future. We participate with OCTV in our apprenticeship program at our plant, where we're developing future mechanics and E&I instrumentation technicians. We utilize the OCTV training program to help prepare those individuals for those careers at our paper mill. We're very involved with junior achievement. That's one of my personal passions, and serve as a board member and as a classroom volunteer in Hancock County, and really try to help prepare the students, everything from the soft skills, the teamwork skills, communication skills, analytical, that they'll need to have a successful and exciting career in the paper industry.
So you are a very, very community-minded corporation, to really help everything out, which is a very smart thing to do. Now, you see that the newspapers get smaller and smaller, not in number of pages, but also even the size gets smaller too. Then one of the things that I have my pet peeve that always have, rather than a whole full page, there is a 4-inch long strip. That always falls off and everything else. Well-known magazines that we all grew up in, the Time and everything else, those are kind of getting to be a history, maybe online and everything else. So I mean, you guys know the trend going away from using the print media, and so how do you guys get ready for those things? And how you're still gonna have demand, for those things, and you got the talented workforce and everything else. So what are you looking forward to in the future?
Well, Domtar, we're approaching it on every level within the company, and obviously globally as a company, we continue to build and expand our personal care business, which we make baby diapers, adult incontinence products, and other personal care products. We are converting some of our paper assets over to making fluff pulp and specialty pulp. Fluff pulp is the main raw ingredient that goes into the baby diapers and goes into the adult incontinence products, so there's some very good vertical integration with those conversions as well. As I shared at our plant, what we've been doing is really developing a wide array of different paper products. The specialty paper products are typically growing with the rate of GDP, and trying to get into new markets that they do have some growth as our kind of core commodity market continues to develop. And I think it's important in everything that we do is we try to really build in continuous improvement, whether it's being a safer facility, providing a high quality product for our customers, continuing to improve our environmental performance, becoming lower cost, more reliable, more efficient. It's an exciting challenge each and every day. How do we make our plant a little more competitive, a little better than it was yesterday, and making sure that we're staying several steps ahead of the competition.
That sounds excellent place to work, by the way. We're very, very, very corporate aware about the employees and the community as well. Now you talked about all those things, but all those things does take people, to do all this, the run and everything else. How would you characterize your company as far as employee needs friendly, or what do you do to keep quality employees or even attract quality employees?
Yeah, well, and as you might imagine, it can be a challenge when you're in an industry that the core market is declining.
Yes.
But we've been very, very fortunate. We've attracted an impressive group of people and talent to our facility, and they've really found it an exciting place to work. And I think, our CEO recently was quoted that in terms of sustainability in regards to how we manage the forest and the trees, but then also having the quality talent, both of those are really sustainability when you think about it, and both of them are absolutely vital and critical to the long-term success of my facility as well as the overall company. And what we've really been moving to is a more engaged, participative leadership style, recognizing that our people at all levels of the organization, they have insights and knowledge and experiences that myself or other leaders in the organization don't have. And by involving them, engaging them, those continuous improvement opportunities I talk about, they've got all kinds of ideas. And so what we do is we listen to their ideas, we get them involved in task teams or helping us implement different initiatives. And I mean, that's how we've developed all these products. Our people are key to the success of the operation. You can have the best race car in the world, but if you don't have a good driver, if you don't have a good pit crew, if you don't have the good support team, that race car is not going to drive very well at all. And we're very fortunate that we've got a tremendous team that we've assembled and continue to work with the local community, whether it's the grade schools or OCTC or the area colleges and cooperative education programs. We've had an excellent pipeline of talent into our mill, and we're going to continue to develop that over
Steve,
time.
that is excellent, and we are so honored to have Domtar as our corporate neighbor, and also one of the employer in our region and everything else. And so honored to have you speak about those things, and people don't realize the facility in Hawesville, also facility in Owensboro, which provides the copy papers, has been a great neighbor and everything else. Want to wish you best of luck. If somebody wants to get more information, they can, I guess, contact Domtar in Hawesville.
Yes, and we also have a website at domtar.com, so we're in the electronic age as well as the paper age.
And the paper too, okay. We've been talking to Steve Henry, General Manager of Domtar Industries in Hawesville, about the paper mill and what they are facing and how they are diversified in the paper needs, for our daily life as well as our workplaces. If any questions or comments, you can always contact Steve Henry at the Domtar or go to the website, domtar.com.
That's right.
And you can always call me at the GRADD office, 926-4433. Thank you very much.